Hey there, STB sports fans, and welcome back to another video. Today, I am Max, and I am here with my partner, Andrew, and we're going to be doing our NFL power rankings for this past week, week 15, and of course, heading in to week 16 of the NFL season. So we are definitely in the home stretch here. And without further ado, let's just get right into these rankings. So the first team on our list, number 32, the 1-13 New York Jets. They picked up a win against a very good team in the Rams. However, this organization is such a mess. They also cost themselves Trevor Lawrence. As a result, we are putting them at the worst spot in the NFL, number 32 New York Jets.
And at 31, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are 1-13. They haven't won since opening week, and they are now tied with the Jets for the worst record in the league. So there's nowhere else to put them but second worst.
All right, number 30, my Bengals, who they beat the Steelers for the first time in 5 years. However, they still have the third worst record in football. They're on their third string quarterback. The franchise in general is trending up, but this season they are definitely not doing very well. They are still the third worst team in football. Number 30, Cincinnati Bengals.
At number 29, we have the 4-10 Carolina Panthers. They kept it surprisingly close with the Green Bay Packers. They actually slowed down the Packers' offense, which not many other teams have done so far, but they could not score the ball that game, and that is why they're the 29th best team.
All right, next up we have the Dallas Cowboys, also coming off a win this week. However, they are just still not a very good team. Not well coached. Star quarterback is out. Terrible defense, could still make the playoffs, but I just don't see it happening with the football team and Giants ahead of them. And as a result, they are still down here at 28.
And at 27, the 4-10 Atlanta Falcons. They just blew another lead to Tom Brady. They have not been closing out games well, and they have not been playing defense basically at all. And that is why they are in the bottom 10. They are the 27th best team.
Yeah, so next up, the Chargers, also coming off a win. However, we still have them down here. That's just the way it is this week. We were harsh. They did beat the Raiders, and their franchise is clearly going in the right direction with Justin Herbert. He seems like a star quarterback in year one. However, this is not the year. It's still a little too early for the Chargers. Maybe next year they'll be better, but for now, 5-9, still at 26th in the league.
At 25th, we have the 5-9 Denver Broncos. They just got absolutely blown out, humiliated by the Buffalo Bills. And Drew Lock is just not looking good, throwing a lot of interceptions, playing very sloppy, and that's why the Denver Broncos are 25th.
Yeah, so our next team is the Detroit Lions. Like what Darren Bevel is doing as an interim head coach, especially as an interim. However, they just have not been able to string it into wins. They lost to the Packers, just got blown out by a top Titans offense. It wasn't even close. And as a result, they're still down here at 24. Maybe getting better, but still down in the bottom 10 in the league.
All right, at 23, we have the 4-9-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Now using Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. We think it was definitely a good decision to stop playing Carson Wentz, but they're still just not looking like a very good team at this point in the season. And with the season coming to an end, they are just not a very great team right now, and they are the 23rd best in our opinions.
All right, next up we have the Houston Texans. We have them at number 22. Andrews Texans, of course. The only good thing going on here is Deshaun Watson. They're on an interim head coach. He's not doing a fantastic job. Probably not the long-term answer. The defense is terrible. The O-line is terrible. Lots of problems with this team, except, of course, for Deshaun Watson. He can't carry the whole team, though. They are still down here at number 22.
All right, at 21st, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. They're 7-7, but they almost lost to the Jets, and then they lost to the Chargers, which two games that should not have been the way they are against very bad teams. The Raiders started out looking very good, but then they've just been on a skid. They can no longer make the playoffs, and they're the 21st best.
Yeah, all right. So next up, the injury-riddled 49ers. They really never had a chance. Too many people got hurt too early in the season for them. They made the Super Bowl last year and are now on what many refer to as a Super Bowl hangover. They are not going to make the playoffs most likely this season. Next year, I expect them to be better because they may have figured out quarterback and they won't have as many injuries. But this year, they are still down here at number 20.
All right. Next at number 19, we have the 5-9 New York Giants. They're coming off a loss to the Browns, where the Browns really just controlled that whole football game. The Giants did not look very good. They only scored 2 field goals. And frankly, there's no way they're going to beat the football team in that NFC East. They are not looking very good. And that is why they're at number 19 still.
Yeah, so next up, the New England Patriots, who are down here for the first season in a very long time, down here in number 18. They have gotten 6 wins, not due to the strength of their roster, in my opinion, but entirely due to Bill Belichick. The defense is, of course, pretty solid, but it's not solid enough, especially with that offense just lacking in so many areas. That's why the Pats are at 18.
All right, and at 17, the 6-8 Minnesota Vikings coming off a loss to the Chicago Bears. Kirk Cousins is looking better, but their defense is not. Their defense is very inconsistent. Really, the whole team is inconsistent. They've looked very good some weeks and then very, very terrible the other weeks. And frankly, there's nowhere else to put them. They're a very middle of the road team, but many higher.
All right, so next up, let's get into the official top half of our National Football League power rankings. This is where we have the Washington football team at 6-8. So they are definitely probably going to win the NFC East. They are 6-8. However, there have been some issues. Their quarterback situation could be a very big struggle for them. Dwayne Haskins could get suspended. Alex Smith is not currently healthy. So we could see some real problems with the football team coming up. However, they played a close game against Seattle. They had won 4 straight before that. So they are up here in the top half of the league at number 16.
All right. And at 15, we have the 7-7 Chicago Bears. Their defense has been playing very well these past few weeks. They seem to have broken their slump. And Mitchell Trubisky is playing so much better than Nick Foles was. So it looks like that was their problem in the middle of the season. And that's why they are up from the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so next up, we have the 8-6 Arizona Cardinals, very likely to make the 7 seed in the NFC as a playoff team. They are a little sloppy, and that's why they're down here at 14. However, they have an explosive offense with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, an acceptable defense, sometimes not that great, but definitely an acceptable defense with Buda Baker and Patrick Peterson. Them up here at 14 for right now.
All right. At 13, we have the 9. Flores is coaching them really well. Tua is playing really well, but it's still looking like they might not make the playoffs with the Ravens gunning for their spot. And they're coming off a win against the Patriots, but it's still not looking promising for them in the postseason.
Yeah, so next up, we have the second place in the AFC South, Indianapolis Colts. They're at 12. They have a great team. No big holes that I could see in any real position group. Their biggest weakness may be veteran quarterback Phillip Rivers, who, of course, can be very good. They are 10-4. They have a great record. However, they are still in second place in their division after suffering a blowout loss to the Titans at one point in the season. That's why we have them below their AFC South rivals at the 12 spot.
All right, and at number 11th, as Max was pointing towards, the Tennessee Titans, 10-4, running the ball amazingly with Derrick Henry, but their defense is just really, really bad at this point. They can't keep the opposing teams from scoring, and Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, they can't score enough points to combat the teams that are scoring so many points against their terrible defense. And that's why they are not in the top 10.
Yeah, so next up we have the LA Rams. They're just coming off a massive upset loss to the New York Jets, and that's why they dropped so much down to 10. I like the Rams. I love their defense. Their offense sometimes holds them back. I think that's why they lost to the New York Jets. It's not very consistent at times. However, I still think they're a very good team. definitely top 10 in the NFL. But that loss to the Jets is just too scary to keep them up where they were, and that's why they're down here at the 10 spot for us.
All right, at number 9, the Cleveland Browns. Very good team on defense. At the beginning of the season, their offense was very unbalanced. They were really just running the ball, but more recently, Baker Mayfield has been doing very well, balancing that offense out, and that's why they've been climbing in our power rankings, and that's why they're number 9.
Yeah, so next up, we actually have the Browns AFC North rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. They just beat them the other day on Monday Night Football. Baltimore is a very good team, very good at running the ball. Lamar is playing better than he was in the middle and beginning of the season. They have a very easy end of the schedule, probably going to win out, go 11-5, consequently make the playoffs, and that's why they are a top 8 team in the NFL, in our opinion.
All right, at number 7, we have the 9-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady and his Buccaneers coming off another massive comeback win against the Falcons. Their defense is amazing, great linebackers, and they are looking like they're going to make the playoffs. It's still not. They still haven't clinched their playoff berth, but it's looking very good for them to make the postseason. And they're playing a lot better than they were at the beginning of the season, and that's why they're the 7th best team in the NFL.
Yeah, so next up we have the 11-3 Pittsburgh Steelers coming off another massive upset loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, who they have not lost to in 5 years, as I previously mentioned. That's a huge loss for them. They lost the 2 seed in the AFC. They've now lost 3 straight. They have some serious questions about turning the ball over. Can they run the ball? Does Big Ben still have it? However, they still have 11 wins, and they still have a great coach in Mike Tomlin. So I can't say that we could drop them too much for those losses because they are still one of the best teams in the NFL and a very scary game to play.
All right, at number 5, the 10-4 Seattle Seahawks, a team that has been so good on offense the whole season, and now their defense is catching up to that stellar level of play. They were looking a little bit shaky against the football team, and then their defense pulled through. And their defense is playing so much better, especially their pass defense, than they were at the beginning of the season. And that is what has ultimately led them to leading the NFC West and clinching a playoff spot.
Yeah, so now we're into the top 4 teams in the NFL, and at number 4, we have the 10-4 New Orleans Saints. They're coming off 2 losses, but the last one was to the Chiefs, so, can't really blame them there. Drew Brees is back, hopefully playing better than Taysom Hill was and better than he was last week, of course. So I think the Saints are still one of the best teams in football despite the 2 losses. They have an excellent coach, excellent defense, and they can beat teams in so many different ways. As a result, we have the New Orleans Saints at number 4, primed for a big postseason run.
All right, the 3rd best team in the league at number 3, we have the Green Bay Packers. They're 11-3. Not many teams can say that they've stopped or slowed down the Green Bay Packers offense with the Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers. Their receiving core is amazing, and just no defense, even the best of the defenses, can seem to slow them down. The Green Bay Packers, I think they're at scoring the 3rd most points a game right now in the NFL, and their defense isn't terrible. It's not great, but due to their potent offense, it doesn't need to be right now. And they're looking amazing. They're definitely looking at a deep postseason run, and they are at number 3.
Yeah, so now we're into our top 2 teams, one of my favorite teams this year. They've looked great, the Buffalo Bills. They're 11-3 now, and they've basically won their last 7, if not for a Hail Mary pass from Kyler Murray. So this team has been phenomenal lately. They've been playing great defense, better than they were at the beginning of the season. So that's a big win for them. Josh Allen is playing in the best season of his career so far. Their pass offense has been phenomenal. So I really don't see too many teams that are capable of beating the Bills how they've been playing lately. They've been playing very well. Very good football at 11-3. Can't really see them at any other spot in these rankings besides number 2. Behind, of course,
the Kansas City Chiefs, 12-1. You could talk about their offense for hours. Really, every position on the offense, they have a weapon. Obviously, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire did suffer an injury, a very serious injury last week, but they still have Le'Veon Bell to back him up. So their offense is just so potent, taking a lot of pressure off their defense, who's been doing all they need to. And nobody can stop Patrick Mahomes and those people he can throw the ball to. It's just very fun to watch, and that's why they are the best team in the league.
Yeah, for sure. So that brings us to the end of our week 15/16 power rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know Andrew does too. Please, guys, remember to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, leave any video ideas in the comments below. And of course, have a great day, guys. Peace.